Penguin Random House Audio presents Loving Pablo, Hating Escobar by Virginia Vallejo. Read for you by Almarie Guerra. Virginia Vallejo. Loving Pablo, Hating Escobar. Virginia Vallejo was the most important Colombian radio anchorwoman and television presenter in the late 1970s and 80s. In 1982, she met Pablo Escobar, head of the Medellin cartel. In 1983, they began a romantic relationship that ended in 1987, 6 years before his death. In July 2006, she offered her testimony against a former justice minister on trial for conspiring with Escobar in the assassination of a presidential candidate. That same month, the DEA took her out of Colombia on a special flight to save her life, so she could testify in other leading criminal cases. Originally published in 2007 by Random House Mondadori, Amando a Pablo, Odiando a Escobar, Loving Pablo, Hating Escobar, became a #1 international bestseller in Spanish. Due to brutal attacks and threats from the Colombian government, paramilitary, and media, she received political asylum from the United States in 2010. She continues to live in Miami, where she is writing 2 more books. To my dead, to the heroes and the villains, we are all one single nation, just one atom, recycled infinitely, always and forever. Introduction. It is 6 a.m. on July 18, 2006. 3 bulletproof cars from the American Embassy pick me up from my mother's apartment in Bogotá to drive me to the airport, where a plane headed to some place in the United States is waiting for me, with its engines running. A vehicle with security personnel armed with machine guns precedes us at top speed, and another one is behind us. The night before, the embassy's head of security had warned me that there were suspicious people at the other end of the park that the building overlooks, and he informed me that his mission was to protect me. I shouldn't get close to the windows for any reason, or open the door to anyone. Another car with my most precious possessions left 1 hour earlier. It belongs to Antonio Galán Sarmiento, president of the Bogotá City Council, and brother of Luis Carlos Galán, the presidential candidate assassinated in August 1989 under orders from Pablo Escobar Gaviria, head of the Medellin cartel. Escobar, my ex-lover, was shot to death on December 2nd, 1993. To bring him down after a hunt that lasted nearly a year and a half, it was necessary to offer a reward of $25 million and to employ a Colombian police commando unit specially trained for the purpose, plus some 8,000 men from the state security organizations, the rival drug cartels, and the paramilitary groups. Dozens of agents from the DEA, the FBI, the CIA, the Navy SEALs, and U.S. Army Delta Force, and U.S. planes with special radar, as well as money from some of the richest men in Colombia. 2 days earlier, in Miami's El Nuevo Herald, I had accused the ex-senator, ex-minister of justice, and former presidential candidate Alberto Santofimio Botero of instigating the murder of Luis Carlos Galán and of having built golden bridges between the bosses of the drug cartels and the presidents in Colombia. The Florida newspaper dedicated a fourth of the front page, plus a complete inside page of Sunday's paper to my story. Álvaro Uribe Vélez, who has just been re-elected president of Colombia with more than 70% of the vote, is preparing to take his oath on August 7th. After my offer to the nation's Attorney General to testify in the open case against Santofimio, which should have lasted for another 2 months, the judge has abruptly closed it. In protest, Colombia's ex-president and ambassador to Washington has resigned. Uribe has had to cancel the naming of another ex-president as the new ambassador to France, and a new minister of foreign affairs has been named to replace the former, who went to occupy the embassy in Washington. The United States government knows perfectly well that if they deny me their protection, I could well be killed in the coming days, because I am the only witness in the case against Santofimio. They also know that with me, the keys to some of the most horrendous crimes in Colombia's recent history would also die, along with valuable information about the penetration of narcotrafficking into all the most powerful and untouchable levels of presidential, political, judicial, military, and media power. Officials of the American embassy are posted at the plane's stairs. They're there to carry up the suitcases and boxes I managed to pack in a few hours, with help from a couple of friends. They look at me curiously, as though wondering why an exhausted-looking middle-aged woman awakens so much interest in the media, and now also from their government. A DEA special agent 6.5 feet tall, who identifies himself as David C. and sports a Hawaiian shirt, informs me that he has been tasked with escorting me to American territory. He also tells me that the bi-engine plane will take 6 hours to reach Guantanamo, and after an hour-long stop to fill up on fuel, 2 more to reach Miami. I don't feel at ease until I see, safe in the back of the plane, 2 boxes containing evidence of the crimes committed in Colombia by the convicted felons Thomas and D. Mower, owners of New Ways International of Springville, Utah, a multinational company that I am facing in a lawsuit from 1998, worth $30 million. Although in only 8 days, a U.S. judge has found the Mowers guilty of some of the crimes I've spent 8 years trying to prove before Colombian courts, all my offers to cooperate with Eileen O'Connor's office in the Justice Department in Washington, plus 5 IRS attachés in the American Embassy in Bogotá, have blown up. Reacting furiously when they learned about my calls to the DOJ, the IRS, and the FBI, the embassy's press office has sworn to block any attempt at communication with the government agencies of the United States. The reason for their resistance has nothing to do with the Mowers and everything to do with Pablo Escobar. In the embassy's Human Rights Office works a former collaborator of Francisco Santos, the Vice President of the Republic, whose family owns the publishing house Casa Editorial El Tiempo. The media conglomerate occupies 25% of Álvaro Uribe's ministerial cabinet, which allows the company access to a gigantic cut of the state publicity budget. The largest Colombian advertiser on the eve of El Tiempo's sale to one of the main editorial groups in the Spanish-speaking world. Another member of the family, Juan Manuel Santos, has just been named Minister of Defense and tasked with renovating the Colombian Air Force fleet. So much state generosity for a single media family serves a purpose far beyond securing the country's main newspaper's unconditional support of Uribe's government. It guarantees the newspaper's absolute silence on the imperfect past of the President of the Republic. It's a past that the United States government already knows about. I do too, and very well. Almost 9 hours after takeoff, we reach Miami. I am starting to worry about the abdominal pain that has been with me for almost a month. It seems to get worse with every hour that passes. I haven't seen a doctor in 6 years, because Tomás Mower has stripped me of my modest estate and the perpetual hereditary income generated by their South American operation, which
Sample complete. Ready to continue?